everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
I hated my wedding. I'm going on a date with my husband tonight, and I figured now is the perfect time to tell you why my wedding was horrible. Child, it's been 4 months since my wedding, and I still got nightmares about this. And I feel like as the days go by, I just get more and more pissed about it. Because one thing people did was came with all the audacity. People kept texting and calling me, asking me questions that were on the wedding website that took me a month to create. I don't know what it is about events of any kind, but it just like stops people's brains from functioning. All of a sudden, people can't read. I just don't understand how certain people made it to adulthood not knowing how to read. And most of all, comprehend. And then on top of that, people was asking me, can they wear white to my wedding? Are we well? Along with that, people kept adding whoever they wanted to the RSVP list. I used the not for my RSVP in my wedding website, and I had no idea there was an option on there that allowed people to add whoever they wanted. I didn't know that was an option, and I had to turn off so that people weren't able to add names, because I was getting notifications of these people RSVPing, and I was like, who the hell is that? Come to find out, people were adding people to the list, and I'm not talking spouses, significant others. I'm talking about friends, their cousins, people I've never met before in my life, and I'm just sitting there looking like, who does that? So then after I turned that feature off, people were texting and calling me like, yo, can I add this person? Can I add that person? It's not letting me add such and such. It's because they didn't get a damn invitation. They're not invited. Another thing with these RSVPs, everybody was sent the wedding website. Everybody was sent instructions on how to RSVP. If you go on the website, instructions were there as well on every single page of how to RSVP. Ask me how many people text me their RSVP. RSVP on the website. Let me calm down because I'm triggered. Stop assuming that you have a plus one. Unless you are married or been in a long-term relationship with people that the bride and the groom know, or at least the bride or the groom know, stop automatically assuming you have a plus one. Like if you're somebody's single friend, not in a relationship, don't just assume that you have a plus one. Talking about, can I bring this girl I'm dating? I don't know her. Y'all been on one date. And I am not paying $120 a person for somebody that I don't know. I probably should have started here, but I didn't even want to have a wedding. I was persuaded. I was convinced. I was hoodwinked, bamboozled. None of this would have happened if me and my husband would have stuck to our guns and what we wanted from the beginning, which was to just get married at the courthouse and have a little dinner after with our closest friends and family. But that just goes to show you what people pleasing is going to get you. Please do not let anybody convince you to do some shit that you don't want to do. Do what the hell you want. Which brings me to the next one. I did not want bridesmaids. I was actually adamant about not having any bridesmaids. My husband did not have any groomsmen. We just wanted to walk down the aisle. We wanted our kids to walk down first and then we walk down after, and that's it. But again, I was convinced. My sisters told me that I had no choice but to make them my bridesmaids, and they were getting their dresses regardless of what I said, and they were going to be my bridesmaids anyway. Then my mom was like, I think you're going to regret not having your sisters as your bridesmaids. You're not going to get married again. I get where my mom was coming from, because I did get married when I was 19, but I didn't have a wedding. We got married at the courthouse, and it was a sham of a wedding, trust me. It wasn't even a wedding. I got married in jeans and a sweater. So I get people wanting me to have a big wedding this time. But having bridesmaids was probably one of the worst decisions I could have made in the whole wedding, which is partially my fault because I already knew it was going to be. I already knew how my sisters were going to act, and they were going to make everything about themselves because that's what they've done my entire life. Any event that I've ever had has always become about them. So I should have known that my wedding wasn't going to be no different. But the kicker is, you think that surely they won't do this at my wedding. Surely they'll let one thing be about me. No. No. Speaking of bridesmaids, when I tell you they gave the most backhanded speech at my wedding reception, my friends were literally coming up to me like, what the hell was that? It was definitely one of those nice, nasty moments. We just can't believe we're here today. We can't believe we got to this point. We never thought Tiffany was going to get married. We never thought she was going to find somebody to marry her. Because y'all know how Tiffany is. Those were the speeches at my wedding from my sisters. And because there was so much other shit that happened that day, by the time we got to the reception and the speeches part, I was drained. Because had I been in my right mind, I probably would have got up out of my seat and snatched their heads. Y'all getting me pissed off again. It was so much so to the point that after the wedding, my sister called my mom, and my mom told her about the speech, and she was like, really? It was really that bad? I didn't think it was that bad. She reread her speech to my mom, and my mom was like, it's even worse the second time. It's like, if you hate me, just say that. You don't gotta perform at my wedding like this. You could have just stayed home. Needless to say, I don't talk to any of my sisters anymore. My mom wasn't there when I initially picked out my wedding dress. At the time when I got my wedding dress, my mother and I weren't really speaking. We have since discussed it. She was feeling some type of way that I was in a relationship. She wasn't ready to let go. And it was a little sad when I went to pick out my wedding dress and my mom wasn't there. One of my sisters was there, and that's because she begged me to change the appointment so that she could be there. So I'm thinking like, oh, she finna show up for me. Okay. only for her to turn around and be the main culprit and why my wedding was a disaster. Now looking back, I really wish I got to have that first moment with my mom. She did come with me when it was time to pick the dress up, so she got to see me try it on again, and we had a little moment. It was just her and I. So that was really nice. I almost died doing my florals. That was a time. I DIY'd all my own florals. I made my floral arches for the stage. I made the circle arch that we walked out of to go down the aisle. I made all of the centerpieces. I am not a real flowers girl. Like, I'm somebody who likes you to plant me a garden because I like my flowers in the ground and alive. Don't give me nothing dead. So I made all my centerpieces with artificial flowers and feathers. I did my one too. I'm not even gonna hold you. I did my one too, but I did almost die because it turns out I was allergic to the feathers. I'm very, very serious. Okay. I was almost out of here. Everyone kept telling me to go to the emergency room, but I couldn't because I was getting married in a couple days and I needed to finish these centerpieces. My breathing was short. Like I could not breathe. My chest felt heavy. Like an elephant was sitting on it. I literally could not breathe. And it's because whatever they sprayed the feathers with was getting all up into my lungs and shit. I put me on an N95 mask and I finished them damn florals. My makeup artist was trash, child. When I tell you the girl came 40 minutes late, no apology, no explanation, nothing. Just popped up like nothing was wrong 40 minutes late. She spent 3 hours doing my makeup, which honestly would have been fine if she would have told me that she needed 3 hours because I told her I needed to be ready at 12 o'clock so I can take pictures. So if you know that your bride needs to be ready at 12 o'clock and you know it takes you 3 hours, don't say, oh yeah, 10 o'clock should be more than enough time. Say, girl, let me come at 8. You're a wedding makeup artist. You should know how much time you need. And she did all that only for the makeup to come off 30 minutes later. And no, it was not from crying because I didn't cry at all. Not one time on my wedding day. I did not cry. It literally just started coming off right in this area on both sides. It was so bad that I just had to wear sunglasses the entire reception. Not 3 hours and I ain't even got no goddamn makeup on my face. Girl, I don't even want to tell you how much the girl costs. Cause you know, I think I'm paying for luxury. I think I'm paying for the experience. Her work is top tier, firebomb. I'm not saying that my makeup looked a mess. I'm just saying it wasn't worth the $1,000 that I paid. It wasn't worth the 3 hours it took her to do it. Then on top of that, her breath was stinking. And then she had the nerve to want to do a whole photo shoot after she got finished my makeup an hour past the time I asked her to be done my makeup. Matter of fact, I think it was an hour and a half past the time. Then you want to start setting up lights and start doing a whole photo shoot? Bitch. See, I'm getting mad about it all over again. I need to calm down. Back to my sisters. They got the nastiest attitude with my mom and ruined my entire wedding weekend because they were walking around the entire weekend with nasty attitudes. And more specifically, they ruined my wedding morning. A time that's you're supposed to be with your girls, drinking mimosas, getting a little Bellini, taking a little shot of tequila, getting ready to go get married. Everybody's supposed to be excited. It's supposed to be, yes, girl, it's your day. Do you need some fruit? Do you need to eat? Make sure you drink water. Let me go steam your dress. Nothing but nasty attitudes. Nothing but sitting around, low vibes. I curated a nice little 90s R&B playlist for us. You know what I'm saying? The back of that day, the old school jazzies in there. You know, I wanted that kind of vibe. You know what I'm saying? Did I get that? Mm-mm. And when my mom asked them to go steam my dress, they act like they didn't want to do it. You begged and pleaded to be bridesmaids and then wanted to do completely nothing. Mind you, your girl spent over $1,000 on their bridal boxes for bridesmaids I didn't want. Okay. Come to find out, the only reason they had an attitude is because the day before my mom asked them to decorate the hotel room for me. She bought all these balloons, all these decorations, these banners with me and my husband's pictures on them. And because we were at the rehearsal for the wedding, she didn't have time to put it up herself. So she asked my sisters. Child, she got back and there was no balloons up. So, you know, my mom was like, but I told her, I don't know why you think they would do anything for me, girl. They don't like me. A woman who has treated me like shit my entire life since I was a little girl showed up to my wedding after I specifically said that I didn't want her there. Guess who she was? My sister's mother. My ex-stepmom, yep. Who has not only talked shit about me my entire life, but has talked shit about my children, has talked shit about my mother, has literally showed up to a majority of my events, even after she's not been invited, to just talk shit. Let that marinate. I specifically told my sisters to make sure that their mother did not show up to my wedding. And what did they do? Not only did she show up, but she sat outside of my wedding venue for 20 minutes. And I could not leave my ceremony space to go to the reception space because she was outside. My husband had to go out there and tell everybody to move along. Hurry up. Then come to find out, the siblings got on a little call afterwards and said, well, you know how Tiffany is. It just had to be the Tiffany show because I didn't want someone who's treated me like my entire life to be at my wedding, but she was at my wedding anyway, and that upset me. And I didn't even respond in the moment. I waited till after the wedding weekend to say something, and I was met with hostility because I asked of something at my wedding. That was too much. That was too much, guys. It was too much. How dare you ask for something at your wedding? You selfish woman, you. And last but not least for this one, my wedding was over an hour late because my wedding decorator did absolutely nothing. Every single piece of decor was made already. It was wrapped up. It was packaged. It was put into the U-Haul. It was labeled in boxes. She knew exactly what was supposed to go to the ceremony space and exactly what was supposed to go to the reception space. Everything was done. All she had to do was literally put the things on the table. She didn't have to make a centerpiece. She didn't have to do nothing, but just put the stuff on the table. Ask me why the ceremony was an hour late. The girl was still putting the dance floor down as people were sitting and eating their dinner. The girl was still putting centerpieces on the table as people were eating their dinner, and she dropped one of the centerpieces on my guests. When I say we had to put guests in a holding room and couldn't even open the doors because nothing was done, the dance floor was halfway up. She was decorating the railings as people were trying to cha-cha slide. Child, so much more stuff happened. I can't even. There's not enough time in this damn video to get through everything. But the best part is I got to marry the love of my life, and that's all that matters. But I wish you would have saved that 50 grand and just went on a trip. All right, I gotta go. I'm late for my date. Bye.
Damn, 50 grand. That's crazy. Like, I ain't gonna lie. I'm not getting married. I mean, I'm gonna get married, but I'm not doing a wedding. I'll just go on a vacation. I'll take my whole family on a vacation for 20 grand. Ball out.
I hated my wedding. Part 2. Child, let's jump right in because we got a lot to get through. In no particular order, I had to coordinate all the vendors the day of my wedding. Did my sister say she was going to do that? Yes, she did. Did she do it? No, she didn't. So now on top of everything else, I have the venue calling me about problems with the decorator. I have every single vendor calling me to let me know that they're at the hotel, and I'm facilitating all the transportation. Well, first, let's just start at the fact that I planned my wedding in 3 months. So that was already stressful in and of itself. And my mother-in-law has something smart to say the whole time with every single decision we made. But it's funny because she didn't offer no help. She also told my husband that she feels like she shouldn't have had to RSVP to the invitation because she's the mother of the groom. So we should have called her specifically and invited her personally over the phone. And that she felt like it was disrespectful that we didn't do that. I don't know what makes people think that they're entitled to different treatment than everybody else, but you got the same invite my mom got. When my mom got her invitation, she RSVP'd 30 seconds later with no problem. She was also very upset about the way we decided to do our invitations. My husband and I are both creative, so we decided that instead of doing the traditional paper invitation, we wanted to do a video invitation. We hired our videographer friend and he filmed in the place that we were having our ceremony, which also just so happened to be the place that we had our first date. And he made us a really beautiful video invitation. And we really loved it because it was 100% us coded. Apparently, that was not good enough for some people, you know, because they didn't do stuff like that back in their day. She also did not speak to me at all at the wedding. I walked into the holding space where all the family was in order for us to take pictures. Not a word. At the reception, my mother literally had to pull her up on the dance floor to come and do a dance with me. And even after that, she still didn't say a word to me. She danced, I guess, to save face. She didn't have no choice. It was in front of everybody, but no congratulations, no welcome to the family, no nothing. She also called my husband after the wedding and told him that she felt a kind of way because she felt like their family wasn't represented in the wedding. Mind you, none of my husband's family was involved. They didn't care to be involved. No one called and asked if we needed anything. No one called and asked how we were feeling, how we were doing. Mind you, I asked my husband if he wanted to do a mother-son dance, and he didn't want to. I asked him several times, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? He made that decision that he did not want to do that because of the lack of support. And forgive me, you're not even present in your son's life on a daily basis, but you know what? Not too much. That's his business, not mine. My husband and I got married on a Friday, so we all checked into our hotel on Thursdays. My sister-in-law checked into her hotel on Thursday, did not tell us. We didn't even know she booked a room. We had no idea if she was even coming. When the invitations went out, she said absolutely nothing, and my husband had to keep like texting his parents to say, hey, can you guys RSVP if you're coming? So imagine our surprise when we got off the elevator and guess who was standing right there? But you know, when we saw her, we didn't make it weird. We invited her back up to the room where we were going. We were going to have like a celebratory shot with my husband and some of his friends. We had what I thought was a very nice little interaction, a very nice conversation. We all took a shot together. Everybody was acting like they had some sense. The day after our wedding, my husband was going to be DJing a brunch. So of course I was like, hey sis, come to the brunch with us. She said she wouldn't be able to make it because she had to go straight back. She had plans. She had things to do. Understandable. Come to find out, my sister said something to her about the brunch. You should come. She said, a brunch? I had no idea there was a brunch going on. I would have loved to come to the brunch if I would have known there was going to be a brunch. So that's how you move. Okay, noted. So now I know you're a liar. Okay. Speaking of the hotel, I coordinated an entire hotel block. I went back and forth with this lady so many times. She didn't know what she was doing. So when we finally got it all together, we sent it to everybody who was coming from out of town. We listed on the website, I think 4 or 5 options for hotels. And then we told them, this is the hotel we're going to be at. This is our room block. My husband kept checking in with his family. Did you get your rooms? Did you get your rooms? The day after the room block closed, guess who was on my husband's phone talking about they were trying to get on a room block, but the rates are astronomical now. You had a month. to book your room. And then she proceeded to say, well, I never heard of anything like this. I never heard of a place closing off a room block. This hotel did. You waited to the last minute. Now you're trying to make that someone else's problem. You're trying to make it seem like somebody else dropped the ball because you didn't book your room in enough time. Babes, reading is fundamental. All of this information was where? On the wedding website, exactly. Stick with me. That apparently you were too good to read. Now I'm trying to be not too much on my husband's family because that's his business and that's his story to tell. But I just feel like if we gonna talk about it, we gonna talk about it. If we gonna talk about all my family stuff that stressed me out, we got to talk about your family stuff because that joint stressed me the hell out. Honorable mention, his father thought it was a perfect time at my wedding reception to pull me to the side to tell me how he did not like the fact that my husband did not properly introduce me to the family. Now there's lore behind that, and that really isn't my story to tell, but just know that there was good reason for that. So not too much on that, but my biggest problem was, why did you think that my wedding was the appropriate time to say that? You didn't think to, like, I don't know, do that the next morning or something. Hey, we're all staying in the same hotel. Can you guys come to my room real quick so we can have a family conversation? Maybe that would have been a better time. No, during my wedding reception, I'm trying to back my ass up like Juvenile on my husband, and you would have talked about some family drama. But at least he did welcome me to the family. He did. We took a little shot together, okay? So, but also, okay. Now back to my family and their. My brother told me I was mean for checking my sisters, and this coming from the man that called my mother a bag lady. Real quick sidebar, back in the day, we all used to have a sibling Marco Polo. We would send each other videos. So the one day I'm out shopping with my mom. This is right after she had an accident at work where she fell, so she was still like recovering and stuff. And I'm just like, hey, good morning, siblings. I'm out, with my mom. We're shopping. How's everybody's morning going? My brother decides that that's the perfect time for him to get on the Marco Polo and leave a whole video. Mind you, everyone can see this because it's the sibling Marco Polo. And he proceeds to laugh at my mother because she was wearing a sweatsuit, and he called her a bag lady and started singing the song and was cracking the hell up, and his wife was in the background cracking up too. You don't think that was mean? And my mother was devastated because my mom is the type that always has hair done, nails done. She's used to wearing suits. She was a manager at her job. So she is very much always well put together. And she was at her lowest point at that time. I didn't speak to him for almost 10 years after that until he finally decided to give me a real apology. He refused to give my mother an apology for almost 10 years, but then would text me every once in a while talking about, I miss my sister. I love my sister. If you love your sister and you do things that hurt her, you apologize, you take accountability so that you guys can move on in your relationship. But you think me standing up for myself, I had boundaries and I stuck by my boundaries and I held my sisters accountable for the shit that they did, and I said something to their face about it. Now I'm the mean one. But what they did wasn't mean, and what you did wasn't mean. Tiffany standing up for herself is mean. It's only ever when I stand up for myself and I have boundaries that I stand firm on that everybody loses their mind. As long as I'm agreeable, everybody love Tiff. She's the best time. They always want Tiff around. If I'm so mean, why do you want to be around me? If I'm so mean, when I cut you off, stay away. Stop trying to get back in my life. This is one of the reasons why he said I was mean. This is a conversation between me and one of my sisters who got the attitude with my mom. Now, what I could have said is that you're 45 years old and you've never had a job or your own place to live, and you live in a hotel with 11 other people. I could have said, with all this intelligence and all these degrees, back in my life. This is one of the reasons.
All right, sis. You got an attitude with my mom because she asked to help you decorate. When you came in there and got a box full of stuff from me, custom PJs, Britt bought your dress, and make sure you were put together and sat down and ate food that mother bought to feed y'all. But you got an attitude because someone asked you to do something. How dare you? You got energy when it's something you want, but when it's for someone else, all of a sudden you can't. SMH, you live with my mom, with Jennifer rent free, and you have the audacity to give her attitude over something that was for me. This is why I stay away. I can see now you came to be with the siblings, not to show up for me. Message received, no need to respond. Response is, I'm here. Says, wow, it amazes me how much of what you just wrote is so far from my truth. I am so sorry that you don't know me better, but messages like this make me wonder if you want to know me, but in case my truth matters to you, here it is. I guess she's about to tell us her truth.
Why he said I was mean. This is a conversation between me and one of my sisters who got the attitude with my mom. Now, what I could have said is that you're 45 years old and you've never had a job or your own place to live, and you live in a hotel with 11 other people. I could have said, with all this intelligence and all these degrees that you have, your life has never amounted to anything. You need people to take care of you. You can't go anywhere or do anything unless someone else foots the bill. I could have said, go take a shower because you always smell, and maybe take that shower on your own and not get in the bathtub with your 39-year-old sister. Yes, she very much did that. Hopped right right in the tub with me one time. I got out. It was insane. I could have said you've lived with multiple siblings, all of them kicked you out, and the siblings that you haven't lived with said, I will never ever let this girl live with me because she is dirty and lazy. You don't clean, you don't cook, you don't do anything. You don't even have your own phone plan. Your sister had to put you on her phone plan just for you to have a phone. Not to mention you had relations with your own brother. Consensual, by the way, multiple times. I could have said, how trifling are you to do something like that? I could have said that. I could have ate you up about your life decisions. I really could have. You wasn't smart enough to figure out how to make no funds, get that business off the ground that you've been talking about for 20 years, to have any stable, healthy relationship in your life. Every relationship you get into is chaos. I could have said all of these things. I think people need to have more respect for the fact that I could be a lot meaner. With the shit that I know, I could be a. And while, yes, I did just put my sister on blast here, I just don't even care anymore. I think that I do need to start treating people how they treat me for them to understand that I've been being nice all this time. Speaking of the brunch, so the brunch idea came because my husband had to DJ the brunch anyway. The brunch was going to be for the younger girls. It was going to be for the youngins because it's turn up. It's very turn up. It's very loud. I knew my older siblings wasn't going to want to do all that. So it was never supposed to be them. However, after everything that happened at my wedding, I didn't want one of my sisters to be there. Apparently, my youngest sister relayed to everybody that Tiffany doesn't want anybody there. And then they decided to have a whole sibling conversation about how I was selfish for uninviting them to something they were never initially invited to. My oldest sister decided that that would be a perfect time to talk the most egregious shit. I really think she thought it wasn't going to get back to me. Mind you, I can go into this lore in a whole separate video, but there are 16 of us, 11 boys and 5 girls, and we all didn't meet at the same time. We all have the same dad. A lot of us have different moms. So this particular sibling I'm talking about, the oldest one, she's a new sibling. She just came like 3 years ago, whereas many of us have known each other since we were little. Keep that in mind because this is the one I'm talking about. My brother gets on the phone with my other brother while it's happening. My other brother hears her ranting and raving in the background, and he tells me the day that we're leaving. He didn't want to ruin the wedding weekend by telling me exactly when it happened, but he told me the very next day. What did you think was going to happen? My sister got real nasty with my daughter and my sister-in-law, and then denied that it ever happened. And honestly, I wish my daughter would have told me in the moment because that would have been no holds bar. Everybody would have been told to go to home. Because one thing I don't play about is my children. You can do and say things to me, and I'll brush things off and just never speak to you again, cut you off. But when it comes to my kids, I'm addressing, and you're lucky I didn't know that when she was in front of me because I would have beat her ass. Yeah, I would have beat her ass. When it comes to my children, I'm not playing them games. Long story short, my daughters had on long dresses and they had on heels. They are not used to wearing heels. They are 13 and 16. They are not heels girls, okay? My daughter accidentally stepped on the back of my sister's dress. Mind you, my sister's daughter was stepping on everybody's dress. Mine, my kids, no one said nothing to her. But my daughter accidentally steps on my sister's dress, and before she could even say sorry, my sister snapped on her. Who the f are you talking to? And my daughter was like, Mom, I did not want to ruin your wedding, so I didn't say anything right then and there because I knew you would have went off, and sure would have. I'd have beat her ass all the way down that aisle. Sure would have. And when I confronted her about that, she denied that it ever happened. But we all know that's a lie because she's very aggressive. She was the same person that while we were supposed to be taking family pictures, she was on the roof with her daughter doing a private photo shoot. Okay. Come to find out, my sister-in-law told me that when they was on the elevator, they was trying to get off the elevator, and my sister-in-law accidentally stepped on my little niece's dress, and my sister snapped and had an attitude with her. And my sister-in-law said she didn't want to ruin my day. She said she was very, very nasty. So for her to sit there and deny it when 2 people said the exact same thing, girl, all that coke she be snorting has gone to her brain and has killed her brain follicles. I swear. We had 75 people at our wedding, and the only reason why we had that many is because our venue required it. We also had a lot of people asking us to come that we couldn't extend invitations to because 75 was our cap, only for 8 people to turn around and not show up. We clearly have on our wedding website, if you cannot come, we understand. We love you anyway, but please do not RSVP if you cannot make it. And 8 people still decided to RSVP and not show up. I know that that's normal in the wedding industry for people to RSVP and not show up, but it shouldn't be. You know that this is an event that people pay per person, and you have to have your final head counts in at least 2 weeks before the wedding. So knowing that this is something that people have to pay for per person, why would you RSVP to something and then not come? Unless something dire happened, you had a dire emergency. Why you not show up? Not to mention they told us the day of. Why are you texting my phone the day of? I'm in my wedding dress. I had my wedding and my reception in 2 different places. So my dad and my uncle came to the wedding but didn't come to the reception. My uncle's excuse was he felt like at the wedding ceremony, people were looking at him like he wasn't good enough. People were looking at him with a stank face, like he was below them. No one knew you. No one knew who you were. We're talking about my friends who are in the industry. They're actors, they're directors, they're writers. writers, they're professionals, they're videographers. We have a very creative collective as our tribe, our friendship tribe. I don't know if he felt inadequate because a lot of my friends are like in that creative professional field. They're successful, but nobody even knew who you were to even look at you crazy. No one knew you. On top of the fact that my friends don't even act like that. They were just happy as shit for us. So he decided that he was going to waste my $120 and not come. My father didn't come because he got his little feelings hurt. There's a lot of lore in my relationship with my dad. It's a lot of drama, a lot of turmoil. But my dad only has a very short amount of time left. He had a stroke, quadruple bypass. He's old as hell. At first, he wasn't invited to my wedding because of all the shit that we've been through. But then I started thinking about the fact that I might one day want these pictures. I might one day want this memory. You know what I'm saying? Even though we didn't have the best relationship, it's like, am I going to regret it? You know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right. I'll invite him to the wedding. I'll invite him to the wedding. Well, of course, then it became all about him. The song he wanted to dance to, how he wanted to walk me down the aisle. My dad is in a wheelchair. He can't walk. But he was determined that he was going to try to practice to walk me down the aisle. And I was like, okay. But my mom's walking down the aisle too. My mom was always walking me down the aisle. It always gave my mom, are you going to join us or not? He was a little upset about the fact that my mom was going to walk me down the aisle, but she raised me. You've never done anything for me. You didn't raise me. You've never done anything for me. So what makes you think that you're lucky you're even invited? Let's start there. My dad was a singer back in the day, and there's a song of his that I really love that I was going to use as part of my first dance. So the day of the wedding comes, my dad's there. That was a whole fiasco in and of itself, getting him there and the lore behind that. Mind you, we are an hour behind because of the Decorator. Keep that in mind. We are in the holding area. We can't do nothing but waiting for them to finish these decorations so we can come in. That's important. Everyone lines up behind the curtain. My dad's nowhere to be found. I'm not stressing it because I already have enough shit on my plate. My brother walks out first because he married us. Then my husband walks out. As my husband's walking down the aisle, doing his thing, looking good as hell, my dad is screaming behind the curtain. He's out on the ceremony floor, moving the curtain over where we're all standing behind to scream behind, where's my cane? Where's my cane? I don't mean to make fun of the way the man talk because he had a stroke, so he don't really talk well. Screaming to the top of his lungs, where's his cane? Because he wants to get ready to walk me down the aisle. What the fuck were you doing this entire time? So now it's time to walk down the aisle. You want someone to stop the ceremony to go find your cane, which by the way ended up being all the way upstairs in the holding room. Why didn't you bring it down with you and keep... Woo-cha. Come to find out later on, instead of watching the ceremony, my sister was watching my dad the whole entire time and was talking about how he just kept shaking his head. He was just shaking his head through the whole thing. How do you know he was shaking his head? You should have been watching the ceremony. You too busy worried about what the fuck he's doing. So he's mad because he didn't end up walking me down the aisle, but that's your fault. I got enough on my plate. I got to worry about you having your cane too. You're lucky you even was about to get that privilege. And I'm so glad that he didn't, because he didn't really deserve it. He decided after that he didn't get his big moment. He wasn't coming to the reception. And that's fine by me. So you know what I did, right? I sent my husband down there to tell the DJ, do not play my dad's song. And I did not do my first dance to his song because he didn't deserve that either. Only for him to turn around and be mad at me. How you mad at me? Because you wasn't prepared. My photographer barely got any of the shots I asked him to get. I sent him a detailed shot list. First it was he never got it. And when he checked his phone, he was like, oh yeah, I couldn't open it. So you didn't say, hey, you know what? My bride sent me something. I can't open it. Let me text her or call her. Hey, I don't know if what you sent me was super important, but I can't open it. He was standing there twiddling his thumbs like boo-boo the fool, like he didn't know what to do. I'm wrangling people. This person, that person, this person. Come here, do this. Why am I wrangling people? You cost $5,000. Why am I wrangling people? My sister called me every single day to vent about my other sister during my entire wedding planning process. I was helping them work out their differences every single day while I was planning a full-fledged wedding. And when I say every day, I am not embellishing. I mean every single day. Sometimes being on the phone for literally hours. She asked me to facilitate a conversation between the two of them because they literally just could not get along. Only for her to turn around and not want to get involved after my sister did what she did to me and I'm upset about it. Now you don't want to get involved. Now you can't talk to me on the phone when you're around her. Now you want to be acting real weird when you sat on my phone for 3 months and vented about this girl. And I sat on the phone and facilitated a conversation between the two of you that I didn't even want to do, that I told you no at first because y'all are very stressful, only for me to give in to help y'all with y'all relationship, to help y'all communicate better with each other. Had nothing to do with me, but you were able to call me every day for that. You were able to be on the phone all the time for that. But as soon as the same sister that you were mad at does something to me, you ain't got no words. You don't want to be involved. Nobody wants to be involved now, but everybody wants to involve me when they need to call me to vent, when they need me to fix their problems, when they need me to give them advice. They know my number then. But when it has anything to do with me, ain't nobody nowhere to be found. Where they at? Where they go? The same sister where when her baby daddy kicked her out of the house for the second time with their daughter, mind you, who did she call? Me. Who came running? Me, to make sure that his sisters and his mom didn't jump her, beat her ass. I think I was the one holding you while you were crying in the bathroom. I think I was the one whose house you would run to all the time when you would get in arguments with your baby dad and when you would get in arguments with our father, who you had to go live with because you had nowhere else to go because your baby dad kicked you out. My house is the house you would run to. Right. My phone is the one that you would ring. But we're very, very quiet on the creek when somebody does something to Tiffany. You right, sis. I had no bachelorette party, no bridal shower, and no registry. The only thing I asked for from my entire wedding was for people to come with positive energy. That is the one thing I kept saying. I just want positive energy and positive vibes. I don't want nothing else. One of my sister's friends even asked her, like, how's your sister doing? Like, is she a bridezilla? How's she been with wedding planning? And my sister was like, yo, she's so chill. She literally does not care about anything. I didn't care what they wore. I didn't care how they wanted their hair, their makeup, their nails. I didn't care about the jewelry. I didn't care about the shoes. Do whatever you want, wear whatever you want. I don't care. As long as you don't wear white and as long as you don't come in jeans and a t-shirt and you have positive vibes. I did not ask for else. I asked for nothing. So for it to be turned around on me, basically saying that I wasn't very family oriented, people wanted the weekend to be about the family getting together and having positive vibes. But you know, Tiffany didn't want that. And this lets me know that my siblings saw this as a sibling trip and not we're going to Tiffany's wedding to support her. And then they blame me for the fact that they decided to drive instead of fly. Two of my siblings were going to come and they were going to fly. But because a couple of my other siblings could not afford the flight, they decided on their own, they're in their late 50s and 60s, grown ass people, by the way, they decided that, you know what, we're going to drive up because we want more siblings to be able to come because they wanted to turn this into a family reunion. I said, do what you want. Do what you feel is best. No pressure from me either way. You can come, you cannot come. So yeah, they blamed me for the fact that they had to drive 20 hours. No one told you to do that because you didn't even come up here for me anyway at the end of the day. You came up here for you because if it was about me, energies and attitudes would have been different. And then for you to say that you didn't get the family time you wanted, y'all got an Airbnb together. Y'all were together the entire weekend. Y'all drove up together. Y'all stayed in an Airbnb together. Y'all went out to our brother's fish fry together. Y'all went back to the Airbnb together. Y'all drove back home together. Y'all spent the entire weekend together. If anybody didn't spend time with anybody, it was me, the bride.
This is a wedding invitation. Oh, sweet. And a geek. That's crazy. Called him a geek. Hey, make me want to get married. Then I start looking at the dating pool. I'd be like, what time the bar close? Look at that. No doubt, man. Hey, man, what it do, everyday people, man? It's your boy PJ. Today we back with another lit video. Back at the confessional. Yes, we staying lit, big dog. Hey, so man, just hearing all this mess that was going on within her family, it was the family drama. The drama was more enticing than the actual wedding, and it sucks because I've went through a wedding. Like I had my, I didn't tell my baby mama that I was getting married. I didn't tell my baby mamas I was getting married. I had two at the time. Goddamn. That I was getting married, and then my two oldest kids was supposed to be in my wedding. So we had to like really sneak and get their measurements. Like we was like literally when they go to sleep, whipping out the little thing. Shh, all right, she this tall. She this tall. Arms are this long. They didn't know they was little kids, little nerdy little kids. And so we had their measurements, everything for the dresses. But thank God I got other nieces. I got two other nieces that are the same size as same age and stuff as my daughters that they were in my wedding because those dresses would have went to waste, right? But shout out to my other nieces, and they know they love me. Actually, y'all see one of my nieces, the one that just had the twins. That's one of my nieces who was in my wedding, and I got another niece that was in my wedding at the same time. They were they filled in for my kids, but once my baby mama found out that I was getting married, she was like, my kids ain't gonna be in your wedding. It's like, bruh, they're my kids too. Like the weirdest stuff about it's baby mamas are dirt bags, first of all, okay? Because a man has moved on with his life. First of all, we haven't been together for years, and you're still mad. Listen to this though. She's still single. She still ain't been married. She's still mad and still single. Got another baby daddy who's a crackhead, but that's none of my business. I'm not gonna talk about all that. Hey, and I'm gonna be petty for a second. I'm mad that you was mad that I was getting married to a wonderful woman at the time, and then but you at the same time you going have a baby by a crackhead, and you mad about me, man. If you don't get your life together, listen, where your baby daddy at? Boy, I bet nobody ever called me about child support. I swear to God, I'll tell you the truth. I'll tell you the truth about yourself. You hear me? But that was a beautiful invitation to the wedding. And weddings take a lot to it's a lot of moving parts. And shout out to the women that do it. Um After you do it once, I don't think you'll want to do it again because you realize how much work it is and how much people don't appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, have you ever been invited to a wedding and it only lasts a year or two? And you know what I'm saying? You be like, damn, we put in all that work for that wedding, my nigga, and you only stayed married for 2 years. Like I put in more work for the wedding than you put in for your actual marriage. And that was me. That was like me. That was my my marriage was short lived, and I was like, bruh, but nah. Shout out to that woman because she is still a great woman. I can't be back with her or nothing like that, but we not enemies or nothing. It just, you know, it's just it's just differences. But other than that, she was a fine woman. So you know, you'll never marry somebody who if you marry somebody you hate or you can never like again, whatever, you probably married the wrong person. And I wouldn't say, hey, shout out to Suki Screens, man. That's my girl, man. She threw me some on the Twitch, man. Shout out to everybody watching me on Twitch, man. Make sure y'all follow me, Everyday PJ on Facebook and Twitch, man. I appreciate you, Suki, baby. Um, y'all follow her on Twitch too, cause she be going off. She gets live on on YouTube too, YouTube and Twitch. Fellow content creator, and she does gaming content. It's very intriguing, very intriguing. Keeps you watching. But goddamn, like if you marry somebody that you can't like the video, like if you marry somebody that you can't laugh with, you can't make a joke about, or you have to always be serious about. If you have to question their love to you based on some real stuff, like say if you got a family member that's dying and you have to question if this person even cares how you feel, that ain't the person you need to be with. Cause I've had to ask myself that, like, I don't think this person really cared about that I'm really going through it right now. You know, losing a family member, and you be like, mm, this person don't even care about me. They not once did this person ask, "Hey, how you doing today? Is your mental okay?" Not once. And then you be like, "Nah, that person never gave a damn about me." So would I marry this person? Hell to no. Was I going to marry this person? Absolutely. And then when it came down to it, it was just like, damn, I would have just set myself up for failure, just like to be in a struggle relationship. I never do that, bro. I never do that again. So, you know, it's good. But then another thing is, you got to look at the family. Look at this person. That woman talk about her family and how dysfunctional her family is. I don't want to marry in no family like that, because then I know we can't get stuff together. We cannot we cannot do a family function together, because look how people gonna act when you get everybody together. When you get everybody together, you cannot. It just won't be good. I'm not down for it, man. So at the end of the day, when it's stuff like this, family like this, man, leave me out of it, man. Leave me out of it. I don't want no parts of it. Um, and the wedding was beautiful, but the bride was beautiful. The groom did his thing. I don't like that she called him the geek. That's what his beauty and the geek. I don't like that, but I think it's not degrading, because he's probably a cyber security guy or something like that. Some tech guy, or but it's still out of line. So everyday people, man, thank y'all for tuning in. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section. My daughter is dating a man who can't communicate. Listen, a man, listen to me clearly. A man that learns to communicate, just believe there's a lot of pain that comes on the other end of that communication. So if she learns to help her man communicate, he's going to be a dysfunctional person until he matures enough to learn that he can't communicate, and then he'll figure out how to communicate. But it's going to start with your daughter teaching him how to communicate, and he's going to be an asshole to her. And because if he don't know how to communicate now, he's gonna think that he's being pressured to be better, unless he's matured enough to know that he can be better, and he could take that information with stride and be like, oh, okay, I could be better. But if not, he's gonna beat down, not physically but mentally, on your daughter, because he don't know how to communicate, and he's gonna figure it out over time. It's not like he's not gonna learn. Any man that don't know how to communicate effectively by the age of 16, I'm not talking about communicating to a woman. Communicating to a woman is different. You got to speak a whole new language to communicate to a woman. But communication between in a relationship is different versus communicating to your woman, because this is what communicating in a relationship versus communicating to your woman is. Okay, communicate in a relationship is like, all right, baby, taking the kids out to, not even the kids, baby, I want to take you out to a dinner. Okay, that's communicating in a relationship. Communicating to a woman is, baby, I want to take you out to dinner. So we're gonna wear, you know, we can go to we can go to a 4-star restaurant, and just wear something decent, because then I want to take you on a date where we're gonna do some walking, but also wear socks. Wear socks, and if you wear too much makeup, it might sweat off, and also if it might rain. So I'll bring an umbrella just in case it rains. If it don't rain, then just know I got an umbrella just in case it rains. But if it don't rain and we end up walking, you're gonna need a makeup wipe, because if your makeup start to run, you need to fix that. And then you don't want to get it on your shirt. And if you get it on your shirt, just if you think you're gonna get it on your shirt, please pack another shirt, because I want you to be good, because we're going somewhere else afterwards, even if it's to a club to dance or whatever. If we so happen to go somewhere, you'll be ready, and you won't be ready to call. That's what communicating to a woman is. Oh, communicating to a woman is so detailed. You can That was just an example. I'm not saying all this stuff will happen. That's just an example. You have to communicate everything to a woman versus just communication, just like, baby, I'm gonna be home 5 minutes late. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, that's just an example. You can be an hour late. You just have to communicate with your woman, and she'll be fine with that. If you communicate with your woman, she'll be fine with that. But when it comes down to really communicating with your woman, she want to know exact details, because it involves her, and she don't want to be in no mess. She needs to know he cares about her. Okay. Um, Let me give you my best advice. If she needs to know that he cares about her, all right. First, I would have to ask how old they are. Okay, how old are they? And if he really cares about it, this is how you know if he really cares about her. You have to go back to the basics. Opening the door for a woman. Um, Allowing your woman to order first. Um, just go back to the basics. If he can't figure that out, and you have to communicate this with your daughter, be like, look, matter of fact, your daughter has to put him on. She has to tell him, like, you need to step it up. If you're not doing this, why am I with you? I'm gonna step back, and I'm gonna find somebody who I'm gonna put my effort into, that's gonna love me. And if I put anything into you and you don't respect me, I'm and then if he try to raise his fist up, you shoot him. Just shoot the nigga. It's that simple. Because mm-mm, he should know how to treat a woman. First of all, does this man have a father in his life? What is his mom like? Does he have big brothers? Does he have a good role model that's helping him navigate through life and be a better man? Those things are important, because you need men in your life that gonna check you as a man. And if you dating somebody who don't have men in their life that will check you as a man, then that person is not good. I got an uncle around the corner, and we grown, you know, of course we grown. But you know what? If my uncle saw me or any one of my cousins doing some crazy stuff to a woman at his house, like, hey, go fix my plate. He gonna be like, if he heard one of us say, hey, go fix my plate. First of all, if you gotta ask her to fix your plate, you know she don't want to do it, and the reason why she don't want to do it is because you not treating her right. Because if you was treating a woman right, she gonna fix your plate regardless. She gonna get up and go fix your plate, baby. I got you. I got your plate. If you treating her right, if you not treating her right, man, come on, man. You gotta know if these men got men in their life that's gonna check them. If they didn't got no man in their life that's gonna check them, then they not gonna figure it out. Cause a real man gonna love his woman. It don't matter how much he hate her. If he dislike the things she do, if he dislike the things she do, one thing he gonna do is make sure she's straight. He gonna make sure she's straight. You know, but that's just my. They speak mostly Spanish. The Spanish people supposed to be the hardest working people of all time. Man, let me know what y'all think about this, man. Hit me up on Instagram and I'll give you some more pointers about this. You know what I'm saying? But, other than that, you just gotta, just hope you don't run into a young PJ type deal, you know what I'm saying? But I grew up with my father, so I'm gonna tell y'all what, man. I used to I seen my father go to jail for child support, and it was because he had a dusty ass baby mama. But at the same time, he shouldn't have never put himself in a position to be that way. So I realized I never do that for my kids because it takes away from the other kids that need my support. And I never been behind on child support. I never been behind on anything. I always want to do what's right and what's best for my kids and be there as a father, no matter what's going on with they dusty ass mamas. You know what I'm saying? But and I say dusty now because they was polished when I had them. Now they dusty. Oh, now so I'm just playing. No, I'm not, but I'm just playing.